All right, everybody. We're here for the second PBF podcast. I'm Mike Mealy. Again with me, Seth Graham, owner of Team No Hawk. Jeremy Temple, owner of Hartford Whelmers. Guys, any opening thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest real quick?
I just want to say how happy I am with with our first podcast. I don't know how many people actually listened to it, but from the few that have told me that they have, there was nothing but positive reviews.
It's true, no negative reviews.
Yeah, and I guess if you're back this week, that's a good sign.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're watching this,
and if it's your first time, you can go back on the Facebook page, listen to the first one, and hear what you missed out on that time.
Right, and the key word, what you just said there, if you're watching this, because I'm not sure if you guys noticed yet, but you can see us.
We are in video form. Well, barring any I guess, technical difficulties,
right.
This should be in video form.
We are currently...
This one will be on YouTube, probably in 3 different parts, because I don't think you can upload a 45-minute video to YouTube.
You definitely can. I don't know if you have to pay, though, or something.
You might have to have like
So this will probably be in parts. There'll probably be terrible cuts in between the parts. So if you like them, just keep going, because we don't know how long of the videos you can upload them for. But the first one is not in video format. We've stepped it up, just like we're about continuous improvement here in the PBF.
Exactly.
I really wanted to earn that title of video producer.
And you,
right.
Oh, I forgot. We'll cut this out. We'll go back and do it again. Seth Graham, director of video production. That's going to be his new title in the intro.
The DOVP.
Right.
Thanks.
No problem.
So, enough stroking our own
that's
podcast
enough logistics,
egos.
I guess.
This is even a podcast now, though.
Yeah.
It's a video
podcast.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I was thinking more.
It's an expanding medium, Jeremy.
Of course.
It's brand new. No one knows what to do. No one knows what it is yet.
I can still upload the audio on it.
Oh, yeah, I was just asking.
All right.
That's a good point, actually. I didn't think.
Yeah,
All right. So week 3.
Week 3.
What were your thoughts? What stood out to you?
Well, I think the obvious one was, we have some things staying the same and some things changing. We still have, I believe, the same division leaders who led the division at the beginning of the week have stayed atop their divisions.
3 of which are in this room.
And I also...
Full disclosure.
There have been some upsets. I'm talking specifically...
Actually, sorry to cut you off. I think Brad is a new division leader? The championship team?
Well, he went...
He did, no, that's true.
He was 3-0 at the... after this... He was 3-0 this week, so he had a great week. As of what he was before that.
I think he's a division leader as we record this because of the games he played last night. So... He was a division. No, he was a division.
He was 2-1.
He was a division.
He was 2-1 in week 2, so he's
I do the stats, man. I
so the Bulbasaur division got a new division leader because I believe T-Bob was leading before that.
Between him and you?
No. Between T-Bob and...
If anybody here watching knows, please let us know in the comments below who was actually the division leader, because we do keep some pretty detailed statistics down to the plus minus, but we don't really...
We can't keep snapshots of weeks past.
Right,
yes.
Right. There's just supposed to be Snapchats in our heart that we're supposed to keep. Snapshots. Whatever.
I said the same thing.
Did you?
So back to what we were talking about. Division leaders stayed the same, but
Allegedly.
I know in the Pikachu division there's a lot of movement between the other teams.
You got currently, as of now, there's a 6-3 team, being you, and then 3 teams following at 5-4. So
right.
Definitely,
and it's
nipping at your heels.
I remember Maestro Missy was second in the division last week, and now she's 4th.
Looks like she had a rough week.
Silver Dial jumped up. Flygon stayed about the same, but it's all about the plus minus, the big tiebreaker.
True.
Yeah, and it was an interesting week for specific teams, especially in that Pikachu conference. I think Maestro Missy lost 2 games.
Yeah.
One to division rival Philadelphia Flygons, and one in an upset with Why Not.
Yeah.
I don't have, and I don't want to bore you guys by pulling up the video. I'm sure you can all see it on the weekend review post, which you should, and I encourage you to do so. I don't have it on this computer. I guess I do have it on this computer. We can see exactly what the score was. It could have been a close game, but regardless, that just goes to show that someone, I'm not trying to discredit him or anything, but Why Not, whose record is
3-5.
3-5.
And 1.
3-5 and 1. A losing record, but defeated Meister Missy, who had a winning record. I believe she was 4-2 heading into this week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really anything can happen.
Yeah.
And I think we should acknowledge Team No Hawk still undefeated.
No Hawk still undefeated.
I posed the challenge last podcast, and it has not been met yet.
3 weeks undefeated, and at the time of this podcast, he's played 1 game in week 4, won that one. So Seth is now 10-0 in the PBF.
Yeah, and with I doubled the points of the person in second, so hopefully that locks up the playoff spot for me.
Hey, there's still 6 more weeks.
It's
to
very
go.
early to but like we've talked about before, I know I'm going to get handed a loss, and more than one.
Right.
And I can say that for sure. So.
And the other tight division is yours, Jeremy's. You have 16 points and are 8-1. Death Fatter Fodder 7-2 with 14 points. He is right behind you.
Nipping on the heels, and I believe MP Squad should be right up there.
And
MP
Jeremy,
Squad has 12.
Who
12 points, yeah.
Who was your loss to?
Death Fatter Fodder.
I
think we talked about this one last week.
I think we mentioned it, but yeah, that's
turning into an epic rivalry.
It's going to be a very, very close
division rivalry. I like it.
So we talked about the teams. What Pokemon stood out to each of you in week 3?
Well, I would like to make a special mention for Dynamic Duo's Scizor. I'm not sure if it's Mega Scizor or Normal Scizor off the top of my head. What?
How could it be Mega Scizor? Oh, Scizor, not Pinsir. All right, guys. Keep going.
Back to my previous point, Dynamic Duo's Scizor, who played a very big role. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I believe there was a 5-0 Scizor sweep somewhere in there this week.
Wow.
Yeah, and I believe Dynamic Duo, he had a very good week, including a big upset victory over Magic Carpet Ride. And yeah, I'm not sure.
It is Mega Scizor.
Mega Scizor, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Mega Scizor played a big role in his upset win, but I know another game he played. I should be more prepared. I just get all I get is your games. I fast forward through them, see who killed who, and just kind of go along with it. And in the back of my mind, I said, who did really well this week? First person he said I thought of when he said it, Mega Scizor. Keep sticking with my pick.
All right, well, my pick might be a little biased, but I'm going to go with the Halucha from the San Jose Sharpedos. I was battling him this week. I was all set up to win. I came down to Halucha versus my Mega Gyarados and my Haxorus. Mega Gyarados hits him with a Dragon Dance Waterfall. He is down to 12% life left. Misses his Sky Attack, but the Power Herb activates, and you guys know, you guys called this match on the PBF official channel on YouTube. You can go back and watch. It should
be uploaded too, right?
It should
You should just be able to go to related videos, or not related videos.
Go to the week 3 playlist.
And because they're already subscribed,
of course,
it might even just show up in their newsfeed.
Right, because you should all be subscribed by now. And yet, the Unburdened just wrecked me. He hit me with the acrobatics, killed Mega Gyarados, and then crit hitted my Haxorus with a high jump kick, and it just gave him the win.
Completed the sweep.
Yeah.
I will actually go with the team that I just played last night. That would be Brad Kopp's championship team, and I'm gonna have to go with the Sylveon on that team.
Yeah.
Because I know it's it's definitely a formidable evolution, if you will.
I will.
But it leads his team in kills, and if you talk to him personally, it is his proudest Pokemon.
I believe it's nicknamed MVP.
Yes, it is.
So it's his little love child.
And if you look at the rest of his team, he's got some heavy hitters with like that Krookodile and Mega Mawile and Alakazam, and for that Sylveon to be leading his team in kills is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a testament to his play style as well. He kind of plays a stall-oriented walling game rather than the brute force that you would have with a Mawile or a Krookodile. So
yeah.
He's a little bit lacking in speed, so it's smart of him to play with that strategy.
Right.
Were you gonna say something?
I was not going to say anything.
Okay. So some cleaning up the last bit of business from last week. Our issue of the week from last week's podcast. Jeremy, you showed some displeasure, I guess might be.
I don't think it was displeasure. I think you're putting a little bit of words in my mouth.
All right.
But,
Well, then how would you call it?
It was just a fair warning. You know, I was just trying to ensure the equality and that everybody has fun in the league and everybody gets their games in. And I think we just had a very brief discussion of how hopefully all the games get played. And this week, we in week 3 we saw a vast improvement
from 4 to 3.
From 4 to 3.
Which actually, it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
It is a very, very significant difference. Actually, in week 2,
there was 4.
4, yeah. Okay. There was only 3 games unplayed. And I really couldn't ask for more than that. I mean, there's 36 games a week.
Yep.
So, 33 games getting played. That's probably more than I ever expected to ever get played.
And speaking of people playing their games, I would like to announce that week 3 is the first week of the PBF where nobody left us.
Yeah, that's true.
100% retention rate this week.
That's true.
So big pats on the back for everybody involved.
And hopefully that continues on to week 4 and beyond because,
because we're running out of people to ask.
Yeah. I can't.
No, that's a good point.
I cannot disagree with that.
And so that brings us to this week's issue of the week, which I know, Jeremy, you just found out some news that you are not happy with. I think it's appropriate for me to say you are feeling some displeasure this time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm unhappy, but I'm a little annoyed. Not really. It didn't put a hamper on my day. It's just kind of one of those shaking my head moments. That Smogon banned Swagger
from the OU tier.
From the OU
so
tier.
This is
I'm
actually.
Not sure if you saw that.
I did see that.
This is actually an important, almost a PSA. If you plan on running Swagger on your team, we're still going to let you do that.
Gonna have to run Ubers?
Gonna have to run in Ubers. It's not a big deal. San Jose Sharpedos and Credelius are already doing that because of their megas. Yeah, it's no problem. So you're free to use Swagger. We're not going to be banning it. But just remember you have to use Ubers. Seth, what do you think the repercussions of this decision are?
It's interesting that Smogon would do that. I feel like that's just, it kind of shows like almost the immaturity that you see in the Smogon world where people just, they take a loss and they want to blame it on hacks.
Exactly.
And, it's part of the game. It's,
right.
it's the same thing as, and I know more about hacks than anybody, having a Jirachi that's
you do have one of those
formerly used Thunderwave and Ironhead. So,
yeah, you do have
I know about my fair share of hacks, but, I just think it's part of the game that you have to deal with.
Right, I agree. There's several viable strategies to take on. I believe the whole reason the Swagger's banned is because the Swagger Thunderwave foul play idea, like a clef key or a lie part. But there are many ways around that. It's not just an unbeatable strategy. And that's my problem. I know I'm a little biased because I'm not a fan of Smogon. Yeah, we use Showdown, but if you find me a better alternative, sure.
Yeah.
But Smogon it seems that they work to turn a game about fun into a game about math.
Now, I was going to bring up the counterpoint, saying that do you think that this is Smogon's way of sort of making it so that all of their users can have fun with the game, and that if someone's playing Showdown for the first time, they haven't played Pokemon since Red Blue, they can more easily jump in and play.
But they can't jump in more. They can't jump in and more easily play because Smogon is the whole community, and as a result, what the whole competitive scene has become is using optimal sets based on math and statistics and just like percentages rather than just I like this guy, I want to use it.
And they do base it on ratings. If you actually do register for the ladder, so you will play people based that are similarly rated to you. So like I know I recently got a couple of my roommates playing on Showdown, and I've watched a couple of his battles, and the guys he battles are definitely nowhere near like the guys I battle because I'm like 500 points ahead of him. Yeah. So I don't know if it's so much of that. I think they're just trying to eliminate. They're trying to make Pokemon, which when it comes down to it, is really a lot about luck. Yeah. You can have a far superior team, and you get critted, you get paralyzed, whatever. There's just some parts of the game that are beyond your control, and I think Smogon tries to take that out of it so that it is more of an even playing field competitively, because that's like, that's just what they're all about. So
I've just never been sold on I'm fine if you ban Pokemon. I'm all in favor of banning Mega Kangaskhan. While I don't agree with banning, Mega Lucario, I mean, I understand it. But banning specific moves and specific move sets, I know we had to do that for Gengar, so I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here and counteract myself, but we had to do that because otherwise there would only be 23 megas, and can't do that in this league.
Right.
And I actually saw that, I think it might not be 100% yet, but I believe that they are going to start testing Mega Pinsir.
Yeah.
Or, I think he's the target of the next ban.
That was going to be my next question. Does the banning of Swagger create a snowball, and the OU metagame just everything that's now that comes at the top is now just a target?
Well, in my experience, I honestly haven't run into Swagger that much.
No, me neither.
I
do my fair share of battles, and
but can we? Yeah. Does this mean we'll start to see other moves being?
I think it does set a precedent. I mean, I honestly remember way back I don't think it was ever officially being tested, but I know they were talking about looking at Azumarill's belly drum and making belly drum illegal. Which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Why should you ban a strategy completely based on high risk, high reward?
Oh, it's so high risk. Yeah.
Right.
If someone predicts that well enough to get off a belly drum, get a citrus berry, and just go to town.
Right, and it also completely ruins any element of surprise because you can say, "Oh, he definitely doesn't have belly drum," so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with a clef key with Swagger. Oh, this isn't a Swagger Thunderwave clef key. It's probably going to be a dual screener.
It makes sets way more obvious and way more easy to predict. Which isn't something that I know. I don't like it.
Right.
I like seeing people that are able to effectively use different sets from just your standard.
Sets.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I believe that's how you won a few Pokemon battles in your day.
Yeah, sure
using unconventional sets.
Sure is. I mean, I will be the first to admit that I do use Smogon sets most of the time, but that's just because, as anyone's going to see, they are the most effective. Because
and some Pokemon just have a niche.
Right.
I'm not going to turn around my Milotic and be some physical attacking choice banner all of a sudden.
Just to make a statement.
Yeah. There's only so much flexibility with move pools and stats. So
with 10-0, you have room to play a little bit. If you wanted to experiment with a physical sweeping melodic, you probably I don't want to give away too much, but I almost tried it on the championship team last night with the new Kingdra set because a Kingdra that holds a scope lens with the ability Sniper and uses focus energy has 100% chance to get a crit.
Yeah, you Draco Meteor all day without
Draco Meteor's the stat boost or the stat
reduction.
Yeah, does not affect it at all.
It's very smart.
I was considering it, and I was I don't know if I'm
sure that was that came about from some non-conventional idea, and then that kind of just became a norm.
And honestly, had they not nerfed weather, I think you'd see a lot more of that, because then you could just bring Kingdra in already with range set up, not even have to worry about, you already got your speed, just set up a focus energy, and honestly, a modest Kingdra just dropping Draco Meteors could probably one-hit KO a lot of things, so there's definitely room to play with sets. And
I think limiting players' options by removing things like Swagger. I mean, I'm not saying that Swagger is like this, keystone move that absolutely needs to be, but just the idea of, possibly banning, like, I don't know, what if someone banned Thunderwave?
Think about Trick Room. Trick Room, if you build your team around speed, you could completely get destroyed by a Trick Room team.
Yeah. And generally, generally people in that ladder also don't like very gimmicky teams.
Right.
They get very angry at those, like, teams that like baton pass everything. They've either got like a Scolipede or a Ninjask, which baton passes to a Vaporeon or an Espeon, which goes to like a Mr. Mime, and nobody likes. I mean, a lot of people don't like that, but it is a strategy, and if that person is willing to attempt that, because that is very high risk, high reward, that could easily be broken with one crit.
And I agree. You were saying how this game is all about luck. What if just out of the blue I said, you know what, I want to bring, an Arcanine with Roar. And I just so happen to have an Arcanine with Roar on against a Baton Pass team.
Yeah.
It completely changes the game.
What are you going to
do? It doesn't matter if that guy's, won some Toys R Us regional championship or something, and I'm just some schmuck sitting.
Although it would be pretty amazing to end a Baton Pass team with like a maxed out Ledian and then just 6-0 sweep with a Ledian. That would be pretty fun.
I've actually seen someone do that on YouTube with a Magic card.
Yeah.
That new, I believe, Flail.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's stuff like fun. The game should be fun. That is the root of my point. The game should not be about statistics. It shouldn't be about numbers. They shouldn't base tiers based on who's been used the most.
Which is what it's entirely based off of.
Entirely based on that. I mean, obviously, because you have your statistical and your mathematical proof that these guys are statistically better, they're going to be used more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just not crazy about the whole concept. I wouldn't.
Well, you do. It's not all on statistics because I believe Smeargle's still OU, and Smeargle has terrible statistics. It's just
No, that's not the statistic I'm talking about. I'm talking about use percentage, and just statistically based, not on base stats, but just how well it stacks up against the other people on that level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like ban from high to low. So ban the people that are like too strong, but don't limit those that because people I've seen people use like UU underused and never used people
Absolutely.
in OU and it's perfectly fine. But
our
of the tiers,
all of the PBF teams have at least a few UUs, RUs, and NUs scattered in.
Oh yeah.
And for us to practice on Showdown, we're going up against fully OU teams.
That's a good point.
Anybody that can beat anybody that can beat a non-PBFer on Showdown is just proof that OU doesn't mean everything.
Yeah, and I've like because you try to test out your team. I know I did that. I took mine on the OU ladder, and I mean I would win maybe like 1 out of like 3 or 4 battles.
Right.
It definitely was not consistent.
Right, because our teams weren't designed to take on Talon, Ferrothorn, and a
Rotom
with
Yeah.
Rotom and Mega Kangaskhan.
Exactly. But no, I think we're okay. I don't think we have to worry about anything. As far as I know, nobody's really complained about anybody that should be banned. Any moves?
So if you want to use Swagger and Thunderwave in
foul play
in PBF, knock yourself out.
Go for it.
Especially Richard Haynes, Silver Dial, who just picked up Lipard.
Yeah, if he wants to do it,
seems to be the only
more
set to
power
run.
to him.
Punch him right in his face.
So we're about halfway through. I think that's the right time.
I didn't know we had a time limit. I thought we were just here having a good time.
So I think that's the right time to ask for questions. Jeremy, I know you had a couple.
Yeah, I actually have not looked at them yet, and I'm going to read some questions that were submitted whenever we kindly asked and you kindly answered. I actually have 3 questions this week, so I'm going to direct, I think, 1 to Seth. I think I'm going to direct 1 to Mike, and I think I'll take 1 myself. So, Mike, we're going to give you the first one.
Shoot.
Let's see what we got. Now that we've made it a whole week without anyone dropping out, which we mentioned, will we not see any more drastic changes to teams?
As in, I'm assuming this is referred to ownership.
Oh, I think it also could mean
waiver wire
reference to waiver wire, because whenever Cradleys, and Wieners picked up their teams, there was several waiver.
Right. As far as owners go, I see no immediate reason for ownership to change, which is a good thing. As far as the waiver wire goes, there was significantly less activity last week. And there's only been, I think, 1 claim so far this week, or 2 claims involving the same Pokemon. I think Gorgeist has finally found a home at Wieners, so the waiver wire, I think, has pretty much calmed down. There might be some people dropping for specific matchups, but as far as wholesale changes, I think that's done. And then, of course, there's the trade deadline, which is week 5. We'll be talking more about that next week.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility for a big trade, but as far as waiver wire and ownership, I think it's pretty much settled down.
Yeah. Speaking of big trades, I'd like to make a pretty, I think, significant announcement here, and this is actually going to come as a little bit of
Should we
surprise.
put a ban on this?
We can always cut it later.
Should we suspect test Jeremy?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that Tornadus has officially been taken off the trade block.
Oh, all right then.
But Clefable has been put on.
So what are you trying to do? Like what you can't have what you or you
always
always want what you can't
Right,
have.
right,
So now
right.
that you take them off, you
It's
think
smart.
people are all of a sudden.
It's
He's
smart.
trying to do the double psychology on
Wait,
this.
Jeremy, I actually did have some interest, but
It's too late now.
Oh, well. all right.
Well, no, actually,
We'll see what happens.
well, that was a good. That would
Off
have
from
been a good.
Jirachi, see what happens.
Well, that would have been a good philosophical strategy, psychological strategy. Sorry, that's not the case. I actually used him for the first time a couple games, and I'm pretty
Had
satisfied.
some success recently.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Clefable unfortunately just doesn't fit into my
Okay.
strategy. So if anyone wants to make an offer on Clefable, I'm listening.
And but just kind of to add what you said, I think as far as the waiver wire goes, I think the teams that are on top, it's one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you don't want to make any drastic changes. And I know at one point or another, all of my guys have been in a game. I don't have anybody just completely riding pine.
Yeah. Carbank is riding the pine pretty hard for me.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, so maybe, like some teams probably have some room to change, but I think a lot of people are very close to where they wanted to be, or where they want to be. So yeah, just my 2 cents. Yeah.
But, you know.
All
All right, question number 2. I think I'll take this one. Let's see what it is. Will we have to wait until next week to see the sparks fly between the San Jose Sharpedos and Team Sparkle, it's Pingle, Sparkle Expletive, based off of the YouTube commentary and Facebook comments on it? A brief look at the schedule, and the answer to that one is yes. You will have to wait till next week.